Namaste. And welcome to our continuing series, Explorations in Savitri, with our beloved Aloof. Namaste. We continue Canto 4 of Book 3, the Book of the Divine Mother, the Vision and the Boon. I'll read.
Yes.
We begin with, I ask thee
Yes,
not.
that's right. Yes.
I ask thee not to merge thy heart of flame in the Immobile's wide, uncaring bliss, turned from the fruitless motion of the years, deserting the fierce labor of the worlds, aloof from beings, lost in the alone. How shall the mighty spirit brook repose, while death is still unconquered on the earth, and time a field of suffering and pain? Thy soul was born to share the laden force. Obey thy nature and fulfill thy fate. Accept the difficulty and godlike toil for the slow-paced, omniscient purpose live.
So this is, when people say that now Sharbindo has gone away, Sharbindo will never ever leave this work. Mother says in one of the, after his physical withdrawal, I think on 7 December, that he has promised us and assured that he will be here not only as a consciousness that guides, but also as a personality. Till the work is done, he will be here because this is the work which he has come to do. But what he is going to do is something more than the work. He could have just gone ahead with his personal transformation and yet remained. To an extent, he did that, keeping a cover on his being. We had so much misled by appearances. I remember once seeing Champak Lalji, and actually I saw that it's not a body but like a radiant tissue. That is the impression I had. It's all emanating light. That was my contact with him. So my question later on, for till evening I was in a different state. So in the evening I raised this question. I believe he travels. How does he travel? So I asked this question to someone because it's so evident. How can a luminous being actually travel? So I was told by a very old time sadhak at that time, and then I understood later on what it means. He said, no, when these beings meet others, they put on a veil so that we can connect with them. Maybe in front of you, the veil was not there. That's how you could see this part. Not everybody will see him like that, and when he travels out, he puts the veil. Now, then I thought, if this is true of him, what to speak of Sri Aurobindo and the mother? Few seconds people were allowed before them, and that was enough to change their lives. So they put on a veil. So what she is saying is that you continue with this, being amidst humanity. Put on a veil and be with them so that you can help, but nobody will understand you. You will be lonely, alone, because none can share this. But you have to do this. And to an extent, this is the kind of aspiration that we should awaken within. That doesn't matter if it takes 10,000, 10 million years. If there is a work worth doing, it is this. And that's what she is.
And Mother has told us, go to the Samadhi, speak to Sri Aurobindo, put your prayers before him, and he will answer them.
In fact, she says he is more accessible now.
Yes.
I ask thee not to merge thy heart of flame in the Immobile's wide uncaring bliss, turned from the fruitless motion of the years, deserting the fierce labor of the worlds, aloof from beings, lost in the alone. So in tradition it is said there are two kinds of avatars. One is follow the Krishna's line. or Vishnu's line, and the other who follow the line of Shiva. So those who follow the line of Shiva, like Shankaracharya or Vivekananda is a strange exception, somewhere in between. But they turn away from the world. At the end, world is a field of Maya. Now, some point of time after million years, something will happen. But they don't want to engage in that kind of labor. Whereas Shri Krishna belongs to the evolutionary kind of avatars where they engage with the evolutionary momentum of the world and give it a accelerated mode. So when they are present, the world leaps through millenniums. That's their work. And that is why they come upon earth. So obviously Sri Aurobindo belongs to that. So one line of spiritual approach, merge your heart into bliss and that aloneness and the peace of nirvana, Shivoham, Shivoham. This is one line of approach.
And one cannot argue it.
Yeah. It's not about arguing. Absolutely. It is not about arguing. This is valid for certain souls. But there is another line of approach where you want to engage in the fierce labor of the worlds. And the mother has used the word that the first type, actually she has used the word weak souls. They are moved by a misguided mysticism. There is mysticism. But an egoistic kind of, the word she uses is egoistic, misguided mysticism, something like that. When they want to turn away from the labor. The other type she calls as heroic souls, which are born to labor against falsehood and, work towards the establishment of truth. What will happen to them is the least important thing on their agenda. So this is the kind of aspiration.
And why else are we here?
Yeah, absolutely. And even if everything is fine in my life, look at the world around. It's not about, oh, mother has been so gracious, everything is wonderful. Yes, but look at the world around. There is so much suffering, pain, evil, wickedness. You can't justify it or put the blame on man's head as if he was consulted. Sri Aurobindo says that, as if he was consulted when this world was being created. It is there. You can't deny it. So even if in your life everything is wonderful, still you want to be participating in this great labor. How shall thy mighty spirit, brook, repose, while death is still unconquered on the earth, and time a field of suffering and pain? This is the birth of Amitabh Buddha, as he is known, Maitreyi Buddha. That when he is going to merge into nirvana, on the threshold he turns back and sees countless who are suffering. And it is said he refuses nirvana, and that's when the Buddha's compassion, Maitreyi Buddha is known to be an embodiment of compassion.
Until every soul
is released. Thy soul was born to share the laden force. Obey thy nature and fulfill thy fate. Accept the difficulty and godlike toil. It is not a easy and simple yoga. Sri Aurobindo never hides this from anyone. If you read through the letters, some people, once someone asked me at 75 must be, Doctor, I have not felt any problem in my life, so what does it mean? Actually, he was not even turned toward the yoga. So I half felt like saying maybe it's because he had not taken the path of yoga. But there was Prapatti ji from Odisha. He was more blunt. When somebody said, in my life everything is wonderful, he said, maybe mother has not looked at you.
Oh.
How can there be a change of nature without any difficulty, without any challenges? No evolution is like that. Even ordinary yoga you cannot do without difficulties, because it's not going in the stream of nature. It is going in an accelerated mode, away from the stream of nature.
But the sunlit path is still there.
Yes, but even there he says difficulties in outside will be there.
Yes.
It is just that because your attitude is so beautiful that you will not look upon them as difficulties. Others may think, oh, there is difficulty.
Yes.
But as far as you are concerned, you will go through that beautiful journey. So then he says, for the slow-paced, omniscient purpose live. There is a wisdom which is working. It will take its time. You flow with that. And now there is a very interesting description of us, humanity. And People who want to know about we human beings, forget about all that you may have read in psychology textbooks. And I'm saying this with full responsibility. Just read these 2 pages, 2.5 pages,
Yes.
and you'll see what a accurate description of who we are and what we are. And all of us. It's not that some people are like this and others. The enigma's knot is tied in humankind. Why? Because we are here to solve it. That's why it is tied in us. A lightning from the heights that think and plan, ploughing the air of life with vanishing trails. Man, soul awake in an unconscious world, aspires in vain to change the cosmic dream. Animals are satisfied with their food, modicum of necessities. That's how Sri Aurobindo puts it. Gods are content with their splendor. The entire heaven runs on artificial intelligence. Just say, Alexa, do this, do that. Everything is happening.
But many have tried to change it.
Yeah. Man is born with this dream.
Yes.
That is the beauty of man. He's born. That's his mightiness.
Yes.
And now we are a double birth. Our body, mind, and life are formed by the evolving nature. But we have something in us which has come from above and beyond, carrying the dreams. That's our issue. In animals, this psychic element is so suppressed that you can almost forget about it. That's why it's called as asanna mrityu. They live as if in the field of death. But something happens in man which disturbs his sleep. Arrived from some half-luminous beyond, Mother says he has come from very far up, almost from the borders of the overmind. That's where man has descended. He is a stranger in the mindless vasts, a traveler in his oft-shifting home. Amid the tread of many infinities, he has pitched a tent of life in desert space. And look at it, shifting homes. Are we changing houses? Inner houses. Morning the ego is in a nice house, is so beautiful, pleasant. Afternoon the ego shifts in another house and it's tormented by all kinds of things. Night it shifts in a third house, all dull and dark and grey. Oh, it is shifting homes. In one day it shifts many homes. Physical, vital, mental. And many little rooms within each. Heaven's fixed regard beholds him from above. In the house of nature, a perturbing guest. So while he is watched by the heavens, because he has something in him which the gods even don't have. That's how the mother puts it. Man can come directly in contact with the Supreme because of these psychic elements. The Kathopanishad says the gods know it not. Because without this psychic element, you can't know about the secret of immortality and the Supreme. So even heavens are watching. What is this creature, strange creature? And nature below is saying, who is this fellow come who is disturbing my routine? Otherwise it drives all creatures by instinct.
The settled anarchy of things.
Settled anarchy of things. But his house is in a disorderly order, as Sri Aurobindo puts it. A voyager twixt thought's inconstant shores, a hunter of unknown and beautiful powers, a nomad of the far mysterious light, in the wide ways a little spark of God. 4 lines that describe man. Look at it. He is a perturbing guest in the house of nature. He is a voyager twixt thought's inconstant shores. Now the thoughts climb into that realm and all his beauty and bliss and wonder. Now they plunge into the dark depths and say all is horrible and nothing is worth it. And in between all the shades. A hunter of unknown and beautiful powers. He is seeking. So ask him what he is seeking? Ideal beauty, perfect happiness, error-free truth.
A hunter.
Hunter. but unknown. Where is it found? I don't know, I am seeking. So man is born seeker. A nomad of the far mysterious light. Man was born to be a nomad. Only he has become mad in the process of being a nomad. Right from beginning, if you see the history of mankind, except perhaps the Chinese, man from all sides have been moving around. And even now, that's why he's even now moving. That time he was moving on foot, now he's moving in air. And when he has charted the earth, now he wants to move further into space. Because man's nature, he's a nomad. But where is he moving, wanting to find the mysterious light which he carries within?
Even the great one, Vaishistha Ganapati Muni,
Yes.
told Mother, I can't stay. I have to move on.
It's nature of man to search and seek. He is constantly moving. So nomad. In the wide ways, a little spark of God. Now you see the qualifier changes everything. Spark is, what is a spark? This immense darkness, just a little spot. But spark of God. That's why sometimes when you see that, universe, and when somebody says Carl Sagan's series was there, that, we are just this little dot, not even a dot in the universe. It's true. But this dot is a dot of God. We shouldn't forget. So seen from another standpoint, man is unique in this sense. He says that on earth this is found, this little spark of God. And now what kind of match is he playing? Against his spirit, all is in dire league. Every force upon earth, the gods will allow him to come up to this point. Beyond that, they will not allow. See, till all the people in Vrindavan, they were praying to Indra, he was very happy. The day Krishna says, get past Indra, he for 7 days rained cats and dogs. How dare you? The dark forces, the antagonist forces, hostile and adverse, of course. Nature, no, you have to go by my pace. Even his own kind. Forget about the animals. Animals are still friendly to man. But his own kind, somebody who will live with him, will fight with him. Because everything is in dire league. So this is human nature. Human beings are given this fate and for a purpose. A titan influence stops his Godward gaze. Like Rahu Kalam, this darkness comes and he is not able to look up. Around him hungers the unpitying void. The abyss keeps drawing him, attracting him. You see this attraction of the abyss, which is why occult reason, why people have phobia of heights. It is so real. I don't know if somebody has tried, anyone, standing on a high tower and looking down, you'll feel that you are being pulled. Even if you are holding something, you literally feel you are being pulled. And if you lose that moment of sanity, you can actually get down. It can be very frightening. Because abyss draws man by nature. That's how it is. Heights don't draw him. Heights you see and okay, fine, get back to. But the abyss draws. So unpitying, void. The eternal darkness seeks him with her hands. Come, please come. And man walks into its trap.
Oh, yes.
Because it, like that advertisement story, that a man who lands up after death, he goes into, so he's asked, where would you like to go? Heaven or hell? So he says, I want to see and I'll decide. So he goes to hell and everything is wonderful and it's good. All his friends are there. All the lawyer friends, the doctor friends, the police, priests. This is a wonderful world. All movies, stars, everybody is there. Politicians, all-time friends. And everybody is enjoying all the food and everything. Looks good. But anyway, let me see what's up there. So he goes up on the lift. Far above there is all cloud and there is a man singing on the lyre beautifully. He says, this is beautiful, but I guess I'll get bored here. So he says, let me, I prefer this. So he says, are you sure? He says, yeah. I mean, this is nice and it's heaven, but how long can one live in heaven? He goes down. Now when the lift opens, there is garbage and everybody is in a mess, in rags and dirty clothes. He said, what is all this? So they say that this was our advertisement section. So when you came, that is how we attract people to hell. It looks very nice, but when you come, after a while, you see that, it is worthless. But he has made his choice. So you see, another place, the Savitri Queen also says that this man is so strange. By his own choice, he walks into hell's trap.
Yes.
By his own choice, he knows. So that's how it is that, by her hands, the darkness seeks him with her hands. Inscrutable energies drive him and deceive. Immense, implacable deities oppose. If we look at some of the stories in the Puranas, implacable deities, gods oppose, because they want him to remain a cattle. So they will give him all the things he asks outward, materially, but not the one thing. Because then you escape them, go beyond. So they will not allow. Even the gods, implacable deities, we can't even understand, their energies. So darkness, the titans, the demons, and the gods, both are in league against him. That only shows the importance of human being. An inert soul and a somnambulist force. Soul is not yet awakened, stunned from the landing, and the somnambulist force, the mechanical nature, have made a world estranged from life and thought. The dragon of the dark foundations keeps unalterable the law of chance and death. It says, all right, you may be a good guy. You can't escape cholesterol, thrombosis. Material body is the hub of these forces. You may be a good guy, but your body is still made of ignorance. You may be an honest person, but it is still made of the same ignorance, and all the hostile forces have created their own little, the names of diseases. And even doctors are posted like that. Will make you feel so scared that you will die out of fear. Much later you will die of the disease. And if you survive both, then the drugs are there to kill you, So, chance and death. On his long way through time and circumstance, the grey-hued, riddling nether shadow sphinx, a dreadful pause upon the swallowing sands, awaits him armed with the soul-slaying word. Across his path sits the dim camp of night. So you know the story of the Sphinx and the story of Oedipus Rex as he is traveling through the desert, Theban desert, and he is a prince who has, typical story. It's a very symbolic story, like us, our souls. And he has forgotten his royal parentage. And he was sent away because it was prophesied that he will marry his own mother and kill his father. So, his father had asked to kill him, but people get pity, those who were to kill, and he survives. But he grows up. As he grows up, he gathers a tribe, he becomes a strong warrior, and then he wants to cross the desert and see what lies on the other side. So now he is going towards his destiny, you can't avoid. So the Sphinx is sitting there, and she is a strange creature. It has body of a lion, wings of a bird, and face of a woman. Mystery of mysteries. And she asks him, okay, you want to cross the desert? Yes. Answer my question. Sri Aurobindo, in one of his poems, A Vision of Science, brings this beautifully. All questions thou mayest answer, he tells science. All questions thou mayest answer, but one day her questions shall await thee. That reply for they who cannot die. She slays them and their mangled bodies lie upon the highways of eternity. You may think you are very comfortable. It will slay you and you are gone. So what is the question it says? It's symbolic that who is the creature who walks on four legs, in the morning, and 2 legs in the afternoon and 3 legs in the evening. So Oedipus says very classically, I am the answer. As a human being, I walk on baby, then as I grow up on 2 feet, and as I grow old, with a stick in my hand. But this answer is not just about the human body. It's like through all this, I am the unchanging eternal. So he says, I am the answer. I know myself through all these changing masks. This part many times people don't say. So if you know the true self behind all these appearances, then she lets you pass. She in fact jumps into the fire and dies. But if you don't, then pause in sand. She will jump upon you and devour you. So if you go there and say, I am this body strong and mighty, oh, is it? Wait. There is a little virus waiting for you out there. Camps of night. You say that I am such a powerful man. Don't you recognize me? I am that famous President of America. So, oh, is it? Okay, just wait for a couple of years and see what I'm going to do. Or the mind. I am a very brilliant, intelligent man. And camps of night will come out and show you how stupid and foolish you can be. But if you know your soul, then you pass through. So this is the story of the Sphinx. So that is also waiting. Even if you survive all these fellows, if you don't know who you are, at the end, she will await you. His day is a moment in perpetual time. We think so much about our 80 years of life or 85 years. It's a moment, a fraction in before eternity or perpetual time. If you really look at it, he is the prey of the minutes and the hours, doesn't know, what is going to happen next moment. So many people as a doctor I see, and how did the accident take place? Everything was nice, I just put a step and, it got twisted, fell down, accident and God knows what. Long process. He does not know the next step in front. He is a prey of the minutes and the hours. What fate is planning for him. Assailed on earth and unassured of heaven. Though all kinds of assurances are given. That if you blast yourself and kill innocent people, you will have 70 virgins. That means your problem will be 70 times more. Can't handle one on earth, you are going to handle 70. This is a very smart way of saying we'll give you a lot of problems. But the idiot thinks he is going to have a gala time. So, unassured of heaven. See, this is how, the monsters deceive you. You think it's worth it. And in the form of that sweet, there is diabetes waiting behind. So, this is where, assailed on earth. Look at the irony of this line.
Yes.
Assailed on earth. Already it is bad enough. And unassured of heaven.
Unassured of heaven.
You don't know. You may do everything fine according to your tick box. But when you go, Mr. Chitragupt sitting out there has his computer and third eye all the time, CCTV camera. He says, no. In your thoughts, in your feelings, this happened, that happened. I say, oh my God, I'm done. So, unassured of heaven. Descended here, unhappy and sublime. Marvelous. Descended here, unhappy and sublime. Yet, there is something about man. Mother says at one place that though he is the most brittle of all creatures, there is none as mighty as he.
Yes.
Look at this heroic spirit.
I'll continue.
Yes, please.
A link between the demigod and the beast. He knows not his own greatness nor his aim. He has forgotten why he has come and whence. His spirit and his members are at war. His heights break off too low to reach the skies. His mass is buried in the animal mire. A strange antinomy is his nature's rule. A riddle of opposites is made his field. Freedom, he asks, but needs to live in bonds. He has need of darkness to perceive some light, and need of grief to feel a little bliss. He has need of death to find a greater life.
So, look at, I am sure psychologists would see what a perfect description of man.
Yes.
A link. Now you see, Sri Aurobindo is not saying a cross. That would be something else. A link between the demigod and the beast. He is emerging from the beast. He is moving towards a demigod. And Mother puts it very beautifully. Man has one leg in animality, the other in humanity, yet he is a candidate for divinity. So,
Yes.
the human in us on one side is pulled by the animality, on the other side
Yes.
is drawn toward the divinity. He knows not his own greatness nor his aim, because all that he thinks are his aim and thinks as his greatness are actually not the greatness, but his true aim, where his real greatness lies, to evolve out of man into something much greater than man, he doesn't know, doesn't even regard it as any of his aim. In fact, he poo-poos it, he kind of, completely disregards it. That you can become something greater than what you are. Usually it is okay, there is a religious sense, there is a God out there, the deity who will help you, but you will remain what you are. But you can become one with that. That is something.
And the next line says everything.
He has forgotten why he has come and whence. That is the tragedy, real tragedy.
Yes.
In one place, Sri Aurobindo says in one of his aphorisms, man's only epic are the soul's triumph, and the only tragedy to have died without realizing his soul. But human beings don't even regard it as something tragic. You ask somebody at deathbed, did you realize your soul? Please, I have to make a will. For whom? For my children. They are waiting the old man to go away so that they can fight. I have seen people, who actual real life example, this is very sobering thing for everyone. Somebody died and someone told me, oh, I can't tell you what a shock it was for me. I can't tell you what he meant for me. It's a very touching statement, and I will say, I understand, people can be very important in your life. After a week, because there was a fight over some money he had left, and there were two persons now, and they were fighting over the money. So after 1 week, when I met this person, a lot of stress and all, I said, what's happened? You're still going through, I thought, going through the grief. Oh, that Buddha mar gaya. The old man died, creating so much complications. Arey yaar. All his life, he has helped you and supported you. Why? Because he died without making a will. Now, both are claimants to his holiness and his hardship.
I have a friend we met in Madurai, and he said that they needed to buy a piece of land, and 37 people said they owned it.
That's why, whatever you have to do it now. Don't think, oh, when I'll die, this thing. You have to give something to children, give it. Finish the matter. Take a one-press after a certain age. Don't hang on with so much, So they will fight for sure. So, anyways, this is... now look, he doesn't need another person to have a war. In fact, outer war is a reflection of the inner war. His spirit and his members are at war. He'll be sitting in conflict, severe conflict. Should I do this? Should I do that? You are alone, enjoy life? No, cannot. Why? Because there is a war. And it's very difficult to create homogeneity in the being. You need to have a clear aim, then you can create homogeneity. Otherwise, there cannot be homogeneity. You'll be always pulled in contrary directions. That's why there is confusing destiny. Mother has said, because there are contradictory wills in us. So there is confusing destiny. One will brings one kind of destiny. You are not satisfied with it. Another will is taking you towards another destiny. That is also, everything is half.
And Mother is always telling us peace, peace, peace in all her prayers. The most important.
Yes. His spirit and his members are at war. His heights break off too low to reach the skies, because he is pulled constantly by the forces below. His mass is buried in the animal mire. A strange antinomy is his nature's rule. So, Savitri has a lot of humor in it, and with a touch of irony and touch of divine satire. I mean, divine can't be satirical, but you can use that term. Look at this Nature has created this. A strange antinomy is his nature's rule. A riddle of opposites is made his field. To be or not to be, this is the question. Yes, freedom he asks, but needs to live in bonds. The common thing husbands and wife experience. Both keep saying, "Oh, I wish I were free from you." And if the other person says, "Okay, from today you are free." So if it is a man, he will come home after some time and say, "So what have you cooked?" No, no, you are a free being. Check it out for yourself. And if the wife says, "You are free, do whatever you feel like." And you know what? Today I have to go somewhere. Why don't you come along? But women can be freer much more easily. That's what I have seen. Men are the more dependent lot, though they behave as if they are very, sorry for that. Nari Shakti. But it's true that women have everything positive except the physical strength. That also now athletes and all this, so nothing much left for men anyways. So that's why they must become Shakti Upasakas. That's their only hope, to turn to the Divine Mother. Otherwise they are gone fellows. Anyways, a riddle of freedom he asks, but needs to live in bonds. There is another very interesting story about a man and a woman, and whenever he would get annoyed and he would say, "I'll take sannyas." While going for a bath, he will say, "I am going to take sannyas, you are too annoying me, this, that." So it happened for years. One day the lady told him, "This is not how you take sannyas." He says, "How do you take sannyas?" She is having a towel over her sari. She picks up the towel, gives it to him and says, "Keep it," and walks away. Doesn't come back. He says, and this man every day, "I am going to take sannyas." He says, "This is not how you take sannyas." So freedom he asks, but needs to live in bonds. He has need of darkness to perceive some light. You see, people who live here sometimes, they forget what joy. Today we were talking about, people, they get the opportunity to work inside the ashram, at the samadhi, in mother's room, Sri Aurobindo's room. But you forget. It's what a great privilege. It's very difficult to remember it all the time. You take it, life, routine, mechanical. But if only when you go out or when it is taken away, if at all, then you realize what a blunder. There have been instances like that, where people went away and they felt it's okay. And they realized what a blunder. Because it's only when you go through the darkness, then you realize, oh my God, what have I lost? Sri Aurobindo describes that in his poem, The Dream Boat. And need of grief to feel a little bliss. If everything is happy, one doesn't even understand the tremendous grace. We only say grace when some problem is there and we pray and it gets resolved. And Mother says that so often grace is acting. You don't even realize that at every step it has held you. So it is only when we go through darkness that we understand light. He has need of death to find a greater life. That's what we were thinking about. All sights he sees and turns to every call. This Babaji, that politician, that big man, all sights it is. Some of the politicians, even atheists, they are proclaimed atheists on their official document. But before election, they will go to every possible Babaji to get some blessings. Astrologer. All sides he goes. All sides he sees and turns to every call. He has no certain light by which to walk. His life is a blind man's buff, a hide and seek. And what kind of hide and seek? He seeks himself, and from himself he runs. Moments when he has contact with his soul. Oh, this is me. But after some time, doubt. What was that experience? Maybe, I don't know. Should I really follow this? So, he seeks himself and from himself he runs. Meeting himself, he thinks it other than he. That was the true moment when he came in touch with the true self. But always he builds, but finds no constant ground. He may build a very nice palace, but still he is the same angry, fearful person. Because this is the house built by his psychological atmosphere remains unchanged. Always he journeys, but nowhere arrives. Probably arrives to the graveyard or the, someone asked at 80 that or 60, I have done with my worldly duties. Now I want to join the ashram to lead a retired, peaceful life. Retired and peaceful. You will get more work here, and all the worldly peace will be snatched away so that you get the true peace. So, what you will get? So, Shubindu says with his sense of humor, tell him this is the time to apply to the graveyard. You need tremendous strength and energy inside, not when you are drained of everything that I want to take to spiritual life. Always he journeys, but nowhere arrives. He would guide the world. Himself he cannot guide. Very sobering thought for everyone, especially teachers and lecturers. Even more so those who talk on Sri Aurobindo's yoga. Be very careful. The moment you think it's me, I am a teacher, I am somebody great. Worst if I am a guru and a guide. People may think about you, it's a different thing. Things may happen because the divine grace can work through anyone. It can lift a stone and turn it into a magic idol. But you should not have the illusion. There is only one who acts in this whole creation. If you live by that thought, wonderful. So, sitting there, I have seen people, and very interesting stories, plenty of stories I have, real life stories. There was an old man who went through a lot of depression at his 70s, and then he came to me, and he was a official teacher in a Vipassana course. So he was very hesitant, but severe depression. So after he recovered with use of medication, counseling and everything, he comes and tells me, actually, it is because of my Vipassana I recovered. I said, all right. I have stopped the medication. I said, okay, good. Medicine is a thankless job. All right. After 6 months, because he had stopped medication, he came back again. So again, the same process. You are made to realize that, look, my strength, my energy is nothing. There is only one. Till we learn that lesson, we will be hit. Back to the mud, humility, humility, humility. So he can guide everybody. Often people ask me like this. They say that, doctor, I was the one who used to give advice to everyone, but now, I need advice. So I said, don't worry, today I am giving you, tomorrow I may need advice and you give me. Of course, that's humorously, it's best to turn to the divine directly. But this is man's state in his present ignorance. Yes. Okay. Just couple of lines and then, this is actually perfect line to stop.
Yes.
He would guide the world, himself he cannot guide. He would save his soul. His life he cannot save. Even when he has realized something, he still dies physically. That is the greatest irony. That you realize the divine, the self, and yet your body is subject to disintegration, disease and death. Thank you.
Thank you.